Today is 578 day that I'm here to share lessons I learn and I'm learning. I hope this will support your dreams, your goals, and allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I ask a question myself. Who is a man? What do you need to do to become a man? Because I found out that a lot of times people live all their life as boys. Because there's no such a thing as growing up, getting older, and becoming a man automatically. Becoming a man is a manual work. There's a lot of manual work. And you need to choose to become a man. Because, of course, physiques will change. You will look like a man. But are you truly a man? That's a question that I really have a lot of times. And it depends on your questions. It depends on your decisions. It depends on your choices and how you treat other people and how you treat yourself that makes you a boy or a man. Now, a lot of times people and men have kids, even though they're still boys. And of course, they try to raise boys by being boys. So it's so important to really ask who is a man, how to become a man. And I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about how to become a man? Because if you never thought about it, it might be that there is something is still missing. Maybe something that you're able to grow, improve, get better. Because I'm guilty as well. I need a lot of time to really work on becoming a true man. I was still a boy till 25 until I realized that I need to grow. I need to take responsibility of my life and change myself to be able to become the best version of myself. So today I will share a few ideas and thoughts and traits that you need to work on to really become a best man. So I will share from first traits. So now the thing about a true man, what kind of character traits they need to really represent? What kind of things that you are able to work today to really start becoming a better man? So first was integrity. Of course, integrity is very important to be able to really live integrous life. Second is respect. Third is responsibility. Fourth is empathy. Five is emotional intelligence. Six is courage. Seven is self-confidence. 8 open-mindedness. 9 communication skills. And 10 continuous growth. Now ask yourself, do you grow in any character traits? Are you like planning and becoming into best version of self? Because if you don't, it's a high chance that you will stay a boy. And do you want to stay a boy or do you want to become a man? And if you want to become a man, you need to change the way how you think. Because the one biggest thing that I was thinking about, what is the biggest change in a boy and a man? Because a boy relies on something, while man is responsible for something. You're able to be 18 years old and rely on your parents to pay your bills, to pay for everything? Are you able to switch that mindset to say that even though that I'm young, I'm able to be responsible for my own bills, responsible for my own growth, responsible to take care of myself? So when you make that switch, then you are really moving to becoming a true man. Because a lot of times people they rely on their partners, they rely on their parents, rely on everything else, rely on their governments. That is, of course, the worst case scenario. So that means ask yourself, are you relying on someone or are you responsible for something? Are you responsible for your parents? Are you responsible for your partner? Are you responsible for your kids? And you really take ownership and responsibility of that. Because if you do not take ownership and responsibility of that, that means that maybe you're not true man yet. Of course, when you think about a scale from 1 to 10, it could be that you are a very weak man and it could be a very strong man. But I truly believe that everyone's supposed to start working to become the best version of a man. Now, of course, I speak about men today, but exactly the same with women. I think that there are a lot of times women need to choose to become women. Because a lot of times they are girls, they have a lot of insecurities. But when they really start working on themselves to become women, of course, there's a lot of things changes. Now, I would love to share a few ideas as well that how to attract the right woman as a man. So, if you want to have a real woman at home, you need to put a real man in shoes. So that means that a lot of times people write a huge list of all the things that what kind of woman they need, they want, desire. But now, like, people forget that they need to make a list of all the things that what kind of man could attract that kind of woman. And when you start pursuing the man that could attract the woman, you will have that woman. I really love that. When you really work on yourself, when you pursue yourself, then a real woman will pursue you. When you pursue a woman, most likely those women will run away. So the most important part in being a man is pursuing yourself, pursuing the best version of a man. Now, it doesn't matter how many cars you have bought. What matters is how many lives you impacted. Now, a lot of times people choose very selfishly, and boys do that. Boys really think about themselves. Boys want to buy a lot of cars. Boys want to have something for themselves. Boys want to have some hobbies for themselves. Everything about them. But what man separates is that he is trying to think, okay, what I could impact, how I could impact, what kind of impact I could do on to others. And that means that there will be a lot of changes in your hobbies, passions, activities, because now like you will add serving others, adding value to others. That is where true man is. So many people goes to superhero movies, but not everyone stands to be a superhero for their family. I really love this as well, that so many people go to superhero movies and they imagine themselves being superheroes in those movies. But then they need to go home. They lose that identity of superhero and they are not superheroes anymore. They do not clean home, they don't support their wives, they don't support their kids, and they totally different people. So that means we need to choose where to be superheroes. Do you want to be a superhero in a movie, or do you want to be a superhero at home? Now, a lot of times men are choosing to be superheroes at work, but for some reason they are not choosing to be superheroes at home. And of course, at work you have a lot of judgment. At home, a lot of times people are okay with any kind of judgment they have. But I truly believe that number one place that every single man is supposed to choose to be a superhero is home. Because when they are superhero at home, everything else will fall into places. If you choose to be a superhero at work, sooner or later everything could fall apart. So I truly believe that when you choose to be a superhero at home, everything else could fall into places. Now, the last law that I wrote down is that you can choose your job, you can choose your career, you can choose your hobby, but I will choose my family. You can choose your job, you can choose your career, you can choose your hobby, you can choose yourself, but I will choose my family. That's how I live my life, and I truly believe that we need to be responsible for our family, because when a man is responsible for something, man could achieve much more than they could try to work for something that is selfish. I have seen so many times where men specifically, they live a terrible life. I don't think that they live a truly man life, but when they have a kid, a child, when they have a partner, they change completely. I mean, they change their mind. Like, I have seen so many times people just transform from boys into men just immediately in 1 year. So ask yourself, where you see yourself now from 1 to 10 into being a true man? And if you're not feeling that you're a true man, maybe it's time to research and be self-aware and research how to be a true man. So I hope you choose one, and see you tomorrow.